Hey guys, in this video we're going to take a look at Drywall. Drywall is a user management system for Node.js, and it's really powerful. It looks nice and it's easy to set up. Alright, so if we look down here you can see some examples of the user interface, and it uses a bootstrap layout. Alright, so it's really nice looking. We have sign up pages, contact forms, we can have password resets, reminders, and then down here you can see there's a full administration area where you can add users, accounts, admins, admin groups. Alright, so there's a lot of functionality here and it's very simple to set up. There is a couple things we need to do, but it's not too bad. Alright, so we're gonna need a MongoDB database for this, and you can certainly install MongoDB on your system and use that. But what we're going to do is we're going to use a remote MongoDB database using mlab. Alright, it used to be called MongoLab, but it looks like they changed it. So this is mlab.com. And what you can do is just sign up, create an account. It's free. And then once we set up our database, you'll have some options for paid plans, which can get really expensive. But there is a free developer account, which is what we'll be using. Alright, so I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in here. If I can remember my password. Oops. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, that wasn't it. There we go. Okay. So this Com Events app, this is actually a database that I'm using in a course, so we're going to ignore that. You won't see anything here because you don't have anything set, any databases set up. So what you want to do is click Create New. And we're going to keep the default Amazon Web Services as our cloud provider. You also have Microsoft, Azure, and Google Cloud. But we're going to keep Amazon, and then down here you can see that the prices for the different clusters they have, which range in space, SSD hard drive space, goes up to around $6,000, which is crazy. But what we want to do is click single node, and then we want this sandbox account. Okay, so this is completely free. And then down here you just want to name your database. I'm going to call it my app dev, and you can see it's free, $0 a month, and we're going to create the new deployment. Alright, so let's see, we have my app dev now, and it should have a green check mark next to it. Okay, if we click on that, it's going to open up our interface. This is where you can see all your different collections and your data, but the first thing we want to do here is add a user. Okay, so we click add database user. Password. Okay, and if you wanted to, you could make users read only so they can't make any changes. We're going to click create, and now we have a user. Alright, so that's pretty much all we have to do on this side of it. Alright, now if we go back to the Drywall website, what I want to do is open up the GitHub page. Alright, and that's going to give us some instructions. Now, it tells you to clone it, to clone the repo, but we're actually just going to download the zip file, make things a little bit easier. Alright, we're going to open that up, Drywall master, and this is where we want to take these files and folders and put them in our application folder. Alright, which I'm just going to create on my desktop. I'm just going to call it my app. Alright, so let's open that up and bring all these files over. Alright, we can close this. And if we go back to the GitHub page, this tells you all the different technologies and all the dependencies that are included. So on the server we have Express, which is a web framework for Node.js, Jade, which is a template manager, or I'm sorry, a template library. Mongoose is an ORM that will allow us to interact with MongoDB. Passport takes care of authentication. We also have async and email.js, which I'm not exactly sure how those work. On the client side, we have Bootstrap for style. We have Backbone.js, which is a JavaScript framework. jQuery _ font awesome for icons and things like that. And then Moment.js, which is a time format or date and time format. And it also uses Grunt for its task runner. Okay, so down here, let's see, bcrypt. Bcrypt is always an issue for me. The reason being, it needs so many dependencies. You need to have Visual Studio. You need to have a couple other things that are really hard to find, at least for me. So what I do when I use Drywall is I use bcrypt.js, which is it's just strictly JavaScript, and there's no dependencies, so it's really easy to get set up. All we have to do is just change a line of code in a couple different files. So that's what we'll do. We're going to use bcrypt.js. All right, now what we want to do before we get into that is we want to set up our config file. All right, so if we look in our folder here that we just created, and there's a config.example. Okay, you want to change this to just config.js. And this is a virtual machine that I'm working in, and by default the extensions are hidden, and I don't want that. So let me just change that real quick. Okay, so you want to make sure that this right here, hide extensions for known file types, should be unchecked. Alright, so now you can see it's config.example.js. So we just want this to be config.js. Alright, so let's go ahead and open that. I should have Sublime installed on this. Yeah, I'm going to use Sublime. Okay. Let's make this bigger. So what we need to do here, we need to do a couple things. One, the MongoDB URL, we need to change that. So this is really easy to find in MongoLab. It's right here. So you just want to grab that, copy it, and we'll replace this. Alright, and what we need to change here is our user. This is the user you created in MongoLab. Password. Alright, that should be all set. Now down here you have some details you want to change. Company name, I'm just going to say, we can keep it as Acme Inc. Project name, we'll call it My App. And your email address. Let's see, right here, project name, we're going to call this My App. I believe that'll show in the nav bar. SMTP details here so that you can get emails from the system. I'm going to put in my Gmail account. Okay, and then down here, I'm going to put that as well. Alright, and then you want to put your password. Obviously, I'm not going to put my password here on camera, but go ahead and do that and then save it and exit out. Alright, so that should be all set. Next thing I want to do is open up the package.json file. Alright, so here we have all of our dependencies and all of our dev dependencies. The only thing I want to change here is where we have bcrypt. We want to change that to bcrypt.js, and we want to get rid of this version and just use an asterisk for the latest version. Alright, and we'll save that, and you can see it has Express, it has all the Passport modules, Mongoose, things like that. Alright, so we'll get out of that, and now what we want to do is open up a command line to this folder. Alright, so I'm going to run this as administrator. So we want to go to that folder, so I'm going to copy that, and then we're just going to say cd, and then we'll paste that in. Alright, and then from here we want to say npm install. What? Oh, I don't have I don't have Node.js installed. Alright, so you gotta make sure you have Node.js and npm installed. So just go to nodejs.org and download real quick. Should only take a minute. Alright, so let's open that up. Alright, so finish, and we're going to have to just restart the shell. Alright, so npm install. And that could take a minute or two. Now, while that's going on, we're going to have a way to connect to our Mongo database in a Mongo shell. So we're going to go ahead and just download MongoDB for Windows. Okay, so let's see. If you already have it installed, don't worry about this. Wait a minute, this isn't it. This isn't the page I want. This is. Alright, so I'm on Windows 64-bit, so we're going to grab that. Okay, that's gonna download. And let's go back here, that's still happening. Alright, so let's run MongoDB, or the installer. Okay, so really simple, we're just gonna keep the defaults here. Let's do the complete. Actually, you know what? I want to put this in my C drive. By default, it's gonna put it in program files, but I like to just put it right in my C drive. So go there and create a new folder called MongoDB, and that's good. Okay, that's still going on. Finish. Alright, now what I want to do is open up a second command line. And we want to go to the MongoDB directory. And then in the bin folder. Okay. Now from here, we should be able to connect using this string right here. Alright. So let's paste that in, and then we're just going to replace the user and password. This is the user you created in MongoLab. Alright, so there we go. We're now connected. So we want to use the correct database, which I called myappdev. So we'll say use myappdev. Alright, now we're connected. I'm going to just hold off on that just for a second. So this is good. npm install worked. And what else? Let's go back to the GitHub page. Whoops, I'm in the wrong thing here. I don't want that. Okay, so what we want to do is, it says use drywall, but our database was named different, so we already did that. Now what we need to do is run this. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm just going to paste it here because we need to change this right here, this email address. Change it to your own account, and then the rest of this stuff we're going to leave. Okay, so copy that again, and then we're going to paste that in to our Mongo shell and run it. Okay, so now if we go back to MongoLab and reload, and go to collections, now you can see we have an admin groups, admins, and users. Alright, so next thing is we need to run the app. So let's open up our command line, not the Mongo shell, this, and let's say npm start. Okay, so that's going to run grunt. Alright, we'll allow access, and server's running on port 3000. So let's go to localhost port 3000. And there we go, success. So we now have a full user management system. Alright, so what we need to do now is we need to click this forgot your password, and then you're going to enter the email that you used. Alright, and send reset. Oh, I forgot something. You see how it says cannot find module bcrypt. That's because we need to actually change a couple things in a couple files. So first of all, we need to go to, let's see, is it in app.js? You know what I'm going to do is open this inside of Sublime. Alright, so let's see. I know there's at least 2 files that we need to change this in. Let's see, I know that in schema and then user.js, what you want to do is in this require, you want to require bcrypt.js. Okay, same thing with right here. Alright, and then save that. And then I know there's another one somewhere. Models. Nope. Util. Actually, you know what? Let me go to the documentation here because right here. If you have issues relating to bcrypt, click this link. Okay, so alright, so package.json, we did that. I think that's it, because I know that this init.js we don't have. I've searched for that and we don't have that, so let's just try this. Alright, okay, so port running on 3000 still. You know what, let's restart the server. Alright, so now we'll go back. Okay, reset your password. Try it again. Okay, good. So now I'm going to go to my email. And there it is. Reset your password. We're going to click this link. Reset it. Alright, so now we should be able to log in. And there we go. So this is the admin area. This basically just gives us a summary of our app, the number of users, accounts, admins, groups, categories, and statuses. Okay, if we go to statuses, we get that. Categories, we can create categories. Now there's not really any other type of resources. This is basically just a starter, like a boilerplate type app. You'd want to add post functionality if it was a blog or whatever it may be. contacts, events, something like that you could add. We can admin our users here. Okay, if we want to add a user, let's say Brad, add new. Alright, and then we want to go to edit, and you can activate the user, give them an email address. Okay, update, and we could add a password here. Alright, so we now have a regular user. You can also create administrators, you can create admin groups. So what I want to do is sign out, and then we'll sign in as a regular user that we just created. Alright, so now we're logged in, but we're only logged into the front end. Okay, there's no way to get to the admin area. Alright, and then we have the about page. If we're logged in and we click sign up, it redirects us home. We also have a contact form, and if we look at the structure real quick, I'm not going to go over this too much. I might do another video later on, but the purpose of this video is just to get this up and running. Alright, so let's see, we have our views. Okay, the main layout is index.jade. So for instance, we have the Jumbotron. If we want to change this to from success to welcome, we could do that. Alright, and then you have the boxes. You can edit content, about, all of the views are in this folder. Alright, now if you want to add extra resources like blog posts, whatever, you would go to the schema folder and create a new schema where you could specify the different fields and so forth. Alright, so I think that's going to do it. We have the thing up and running. It's a really nice boilerplate type application that you could easily add on to. Alright, so hopefully you guys like this video. Please subscribe, leave a like, leave a dislike if you didn't like it, and thanks for watching.